Hello, 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 and welcome to our fabulous live confabulation. This is our Tuesday where we jump in, look at issues that impact your fabulous life, and how you be your best. And we are talking about, the fact that, hey, 1 in 3 women don't get enough support in their journey. They're struggling, they're doing everything themselves. And who supports them? Who gives them that cheerleading section that we all may need? And so, the coaches in the fabulous life, we all have different areas and we offer tools, techniques to recover, rebuild, refresh, renew. I have with me tonight Elizabeth Terry and LP. And how are you? I have Coach Nads looking just awesome and she stepped out of Frozen, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So what are we about this evening? It is about morning rituals that set the tone for your day. And if you practice the practice, set the tone for your life. But before we jump into this, we like to do our check in, and I'm going to just hand over to Coach Nags.
Hey, good evening, and welcome. And as Denise says, we like to do a check-in, and it's really just a pause for a moment to just check in with self. How do I feel in this moment? What's going on? I don't know about anybody else, but I've had a sort of challenging week, so I'm feeling a bit tired. But what I also know that in the next moment, I can also shift that energy. But in this moment, I'm feeling a bit tired. How about you, Liz? Over to you. How are you checking in?
Yeah. Well, I am checking in today. Really, I feel a sense of satisfaction
Mm,
and happiness. Really, it's like when you see that you've planted some seeds and you see them beginning to grow. Yeah, it's a good feeling, right? So that's where I am tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
over to
right.
you, Denise.
I would say I am at peace. Okay. I'm in the flow and I'm in the process of the journey of life and I'm going with the flow.
Mhm.
So
Love it.
that is how I am checking in this evening.
Awesome. And if we just take a moment and check in with self, because we're all just on this little go, almost like a little, a
True.
rat race, a treadmill. And it's just a moment to just reflect, pause, and check in with self. But again, like I said, and know that in the next moment you can shift that energy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
so
Let,
much. Denise,
yes,
back over to you.
exactly. Okay, I was gonna say picking up from shifting that energy. I think what's also awesome is not just shifting the energy, but having Liz is talking about planting seeds. I think we get opportunity every morning to plant
Mhm.
seeds. So what we're
Yeah.
gonna do, we're gonna hand over to Liz. She's gonna talk about some of the ways that we can power up our morning. Then we'll head over to Coach Nad and then close off with me. So stay tuned, awesome session that's going to really power you up. All right. So, Liz,
I
you
wanted to
know,
Yeah.
your
Before
huh?
Liz comes in,
I,
just wanted to ask you, was anybody in the chat? Did we need to say hello to anybody? Just
Oh,
checking.
not yet. Not yet. We just started, so they'll come in. All
yeah.
right. Okay.
Checking.
So, Liz, I know that you're all about raising performance. And
Mhm.
so that starts in the morning. And so let's go.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you, Denise, Nadine. Lovely to be here, and to anyone who is listening, either live or going to be listening on the replay. So
Right.
I really believe that the morning rituals are super important. I mean, the evening rituals as well, but there's something special about the morning. And everything that I'll share with you this evening are things that I do. I may mix them up sometimes, but they are all really important. In fact, if I don't do them, I get a feeling during the day like something isn't right. I'm not centered enough. And so let's begin with the mind. And the first thing that I do when I just sort of come to, even before I have opened my eyes, is that I give thanks. It's like I just lie down on the bed and I, yeah, feel the sheets. And especially if I've had a really good night's sleep, I say, thank you. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Thank you, creator. Thank you, source, for just waking me up, for having a good night, for the opportunity that lies before me in this day. And with that, it sort of sets the tone for everything else that comes after. I mean, I know many people have this gratitude practice, and I think Nads is going to talk about that as well. But everybody does it a little bit differently. But with that mindset in the morning, because I do think it's a mindset, it propels you, it gives you direction towards a feeling of gratitude, of really just, being expectant with anticipation for good things. And that's really what we want to achieve, right? We want to set ourselves in that expectation that today is a day of opportunity, of good things to happen. And then, yeah. Denise, you were going to say something?
Yes, I think that, and this cuts across all cultures in different ways and different, expressions. Every culture has a moment or a very long moment where you connect to your source
Mhm.
and you give gratitude. So that I
Yeah.
think is just across humanity.
Yes, yes. I mean, some people practice it regularly and some don't, but certainly I
Right.
find that it is a really good way for me to begin the day.
Yes.
The second thing is just, building on that, I practice meditation. And I find it is such a wonderful tool for centering yourself, and for deepening that connection, which you start with gratitude. And actually, the period just when you are between waking up, coming out of sleep, and being fully awake, that is the time that it's so easy to meditate. So if you want to start meditation, then that is a good time to begin your practice. There are different ways to meditate. People sometimes do it, and I think the graphic that Denise had up a moment ago shows you. Some people use mantras to keep themselves focused, and some breathing, and so forth. But the important thing in all of them is that you are usually seated. Of course, if you can't sit up, then you can do it lying down. But lying down, sometimes you are more tempted to fall asleep. And you do need to be awake, but in a state of deeper level in terms of your brain waves. So you're probably getting down into your alpha waves. So, as I said, breathing, keep your back straight, and just get into a period of connection and silence. Some people do it with music. Sometimes I do guided meditation. Sometimes I do silent meditations. But however it is, I would say anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes, whatever is available to you in terms of time, even if it's only 5 minutes, just do it. Start with it and do it whichever way is comfortable for you. Good. And then
I wanted to jump in again with the meditation. This is hard. Like it's hard. I
I
have a
know, I know.
million things in my head. It
Uh,
is
well,
hard.
this is why the suggestion is to do it before you jump out of bed, because it's early in the day. You're not fully conscious yet, and you might catch your mind before it starts going into overdrive. So that's a good time to start it, right?
All right. Okay. Up next, All right. So, of course, the technology is a bit slow. So,
Yeah.
I know. So, I'm getting to the next
Yeah.
slide, and the
Which is
mouse
about
is
goals, right?
right. The next slide
Yeah.
is about goals, and here we
Yes.
go.
Right. So this particular person says goals is mostly in the subconscious mind, and during the contemplation, it surfaces in the conscious mind. Well, the truth is that we set goals with our conscious mind. If we pay enough attention to them over a period of time, then we direct our reticular activation system to focus on it and to help bring it into reality by pointing us to information and resources, internal, external, that can help us achieve the goal. So when I say contemplate your goals, it really means to bring it into your conscious awareness and to sort of remind yourself that, okay, these are my top three goals, and those might be for the year, right? Or you may have those overarching goals, but then it's good practice to think about the one or two things that you can do that day that will move you closer to the achievement of those goals. So you're reminding yourself about the goal, and some people would have done their vision boards or their visualization journals, different things, and remember that the unconscious mind speaks symbolically. The
Yes,
language of the subconscious or the unconscious
in
mind is
images.
images. So
Absolutely.
the more that you can even use your own imagination to come up with images and representations of your goal and really feel into it, because the process is not just thinking and imagining, it is feeling. So you must
Right.
get really connected with it so that you feel excited, full of anticipation for, yes, this is it, and feeling that it's actually
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
You're there,
And
Denise.
are you muted? Because I hear you saying, I don't, I,
You're saying
okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So
Yes, yes.
up next is,
And then the final thing, and this is what I guess my mom really schooled me in this from I was very young, and that is the importance of exercise. And I tell you, it is so wonderful a practice, and it's addictive, but it's such a wonderful addiction because when your body feels good, when it is exercised, you, a couple of things that happen. You oxygenate, so you're giving your body fresh oxygen, and you're using the muscles. And most of us are sitting in front of a computer almost all the time, or we're sitting in our cars, Nads, right? We're sitting in
yes,
our cars driving. And so developing a routine exercise practice, even if it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is really important just for your physical well being as well as your mental well being, because exercise is known to reduce stress, reduce anxiety, reduce feelings of depression. Because when you exercise enough, certain endorphins are released and you get a natural high, which is the wonderful thing. And that's actually what you get addicted to. So when you do it enough and it becomes a habit, you really do feel like gosh, I got to do this. I remember
yeah.
when I was really jogging a lot. This is, well, many years ago. I mostly walk now, but I used to jog a lot. And the first thing I would pack in my suitcase if I was going anywhere were my shoes. Because if I didn't have my shoes, then I could not do my running. And that was just, the most terrible punishment. So it's a good thing to get addicted to, in my view.
Okay.
Oh,
And all of this is that we're going to have to maybe get up a little early in the morning to
yes,
make
yes,
time for this because for
yeah,
some of us, we have the kids and school starts.
yes,
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like, yo, oh my God. It is,
yeah, it,
your time is not yours.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so that means we're going to have to get up a little earlier so that our time becomes ours.
Yeah.
So
And
another
maybe
way.
your time, if I can just say, maybe, it's a half an hour of ritual. If it's 15 minutes, whatever it is that you can fit into your schedule. Because if you're trying to do an hour and you normally have to get up at 5 o'clock anyway, then it's going to be challenging to commit to waking up at 4. But if you can get up just 15, 20 minutes earlier and do maybe one or two of those practices, maybe do 5 minutes of meditation, 15 minutes of, you know, jogging on the spot, or lifting weights or something. If you can do that regularly, it will make a difference to your life.
Okay, so we're gonna hand over to Nat, and because guess what? Sometimes we need to go bold in a safe space, and Nad is going to help you to remove that mask, make that transformation. And that is something that all of us need sometimes. So, Nad, I am going to turn over to you. And as I said, this PowerPoint is not easy, but
No,
here we go.
that's
It's
okay. Just keep clicking.
coming.
It'll
Yeah,
work.
we're going to
It'll
keep
work.
pushing.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
sorry. It's
So,
fine. Just
yes,
just
go
click on
ahead.
it and each one will
Ah,
come up.
there we go.
It'll come back. It'll come
Go.
one by one. It's
There you
fine.
go.
Right. So as Liz was talking about, that morning is so important. I believe it was Wayne Dyer that used to speak about there's wisdom in the nights. And so for me, I get some amazing downloads, conversations with God, and it typically happens about 4:30, almost every morning. And it's beautiful. I typically write out those thoughts and ideas, and I really wonder, I mean, I know neuroscientists or what have you, Liz speaks about the unconscious mind and the conscious mind, but I truly believe that at that hour, it's almost as if we're in that unconscious state that takes us back to like that childlike period in our life where we just dream and we dream big and we all kinds of ideas and thoughts come to us. So for me, I will tell you that my morning rituals are sacred. So as Liz was talking about getting up a little earlier, I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I start my day. And what it does is it really sets the foundation for my day. For us here in Jamaica, I would have said, my day can't mash up after that. It literally cannot. Mean it just set good once I've had that morning ritual in. And so just to give you an idea, and Denise had it on the screen a little while ago, I've been using in the last 6 months the daily word. And each day there is a word of the day. And I use that as part of my journaling process. So whatever today's word is, so like today was positivity, and then I go into gratitude, the different things that I'm grateful for. It could have been something that happened the day before, but generally I talk about even the things that I maybe plan to manifest that day. And I speak of it as if it has already happened, using generative language, future-based language. Like when you say you call something into being. And I would tell you that I typically focus on 3 things I want to manifest for that day. Now, it could be a conversation. It could be like this tonight's Facebook Live, that it was perfect. We had the right people, technology worked with us, and everything just ran smoothly. I heard Liz also speak about this, and you would have heard her speak about how you want to feel. That is critical. It's almost as if you're in a car, that's what puts it into drive. How do I really want to feel? What's the feeling that I want? Is it that I want to feel empowered or accomplished or complete? Whatever that may be for you, you have to do it for you and what makes you feel good. So that journaling to me is like top-notch key. My journal, I must tell you, over the last year in particular, has been like my therapist. It has been my confidant. It has supported me in setting some powerful intentions for my life and has really set me up for an amazing 2021. And already, we haven't even finished January, and I already feel like it's an amazing year. We've been creating some awesome events, and I mean, and technology. I'm so grateful for it. On the weekend, I was with a group from the UK. The week before, persons from the Netherlands. I mean, who could ask for more? Who could ask?
And I find that a lot of times people say, "Oh, I don't know what to write." For me, I find that my journaling has actually evolved into stick figures.
Yeah.
I draw stick figures of me, how I'm feeling now, how I want to feel, or somebody, something's on my mind. I draw a stick figure about the person, and and so I am a writer, and I don't get bogged down by if I have a lot to write. I draw a stick figure, put an arrow upset or happy, and I try to have as much fun with the journaling. If I feel particularly emotional, because you had on the previous slide about how do you want to feel, now is when, like, I can share with you like this. I cut out pictures. What is this? Somebody say, "Oh, it's a cake." No, this is not a cake. In my journal, it is looking at, how I want my career to unfold.
Wow. Okay. I love
Yeah,
that. You have to make it what resonates with you, Denise.
exactly.
You really see it. And as you talked about visualizing, and Liz spoke about that. You want to visualize it. You want to give your journals, your ideas, your vision. You want to give it as much detail as possible. That's
Right.
really important. Trust me. Trust
Right.
me.
Right. So that's why I find that, journaling is a powerful thing. But for persons, I just wanted to share that it shouldn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm burdened by the fact that I have to journal.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to
Yeah,
point.
yeah, that's very true.
And I'll tell you that if you stick with us, reach out to us, there's a process, and I can help you to guide you through that process of journaling. That you find that before you know it, you're just writing and writing and writing. I love this quote, and I created it recently. There's always room for a new story with a magical ending. Each of us have that opportunity. We get to choose how we're feeling. We get to choose the life that we want to create for ourselves. So let's create a new story for our lives and what we see in our life. Because I can tell you that the life that I had last year and the year before is nothing like what I'm having right now. My experiences have been like phenomenal. They literally feel magical. And the other ritual I want to touch on, and Liz spoke about this, is the walking. Walking has been, just a godsend for me. Getting up in the morning, and it's more for my mental calmness and peace, and just my mental health. Sometimes it's not very physical, but it feels good when I'm finished. It sets my day right. So you can put back that up, Denise, the slide that you did have up. And the other thing too is that I really want persons to create their own personal vision. And the one thing that I have been stuck on, and I love it, my vision is really to share love around the world. Now, every day might show up differently. Today it might be cooking for somebody. Tomorrow it might be sharing some tools from my coaching. It may show up differently in each interaction or what have you. But I would love to hear persons, their own vision, and how we, through the fabulous life, confabulation, how we can support you in your vision and creating the life that you truly want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point. That's because finding purpose, because I think for many, your vision really translates into what you feel your purpose is in life.
Yes.
And a
I
lot,
agree. I agree.
yeah.
And I think it's, sometimes I can speak for a person, they have this, a lot of people say they are artistic or creative or they're mathematical or they're, there's this one thing. And I think a lot of persons who are not one thing struggle with that. So am I creative today? Am I analytical tomorrow? And, and that struggle. So finding purpose and getting support is
Yeah.
so critical. I,
Yeah.
I
It's
think,
really about integrating the two,
yeah,
because we are whole, and we need all of us have the creative side,
you know
all
what?
of us have the logical thinking side,
Yeah,
but we tend to box ourselves in, oh, I'm a creative so I can't do this, or oh, I'm
exactly.
logical and I can't do art. But the truth is that if you're going to get the best out of your life, then you need to activate and develop both circuits in both
And,
sides
and
of
you know what I like? I tell my son that we have different personalities and persons don't embrace them. So artists, if when I'm in the mood to paint, I don't want to hear kids. I don't want there's no mummy. There's an artist. Be quiet.
yeah.
When mommy's around, then there's no artist because I'm fully committed to you. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
When I'm a gardener, if you come around, I'm gonna put you to work. You know what I mean? You're gonna lift and dig and
Mhm.
everything because that gardener hat, is all hands on deck. So where artist is very much more solitary. I'm not gonna ask you to do anything
Mhm.
to my art. So
Yeah,
I want my son to be comfortable with different sides so that we
yeah,
can
that's
all,
good.
and in the creativity, in this morning ritual that we're talking about, let's not leave out our money. And the question is,
Yeah.
where do you want to be financially? And that is a hard question, believe it or not, because someone say, "Oh, I just want a house." Do you? So when you get the house, you may want to redecorate. You may want new furniture. You may want to extend the house. All of a sudden, when you reach goal one, 10 more goals come because it's always a growing process. So I think the morning ritual is important because everything that my fellow coaches said relate, being grateful, having a goal in mind. Sometimes we may even have a goal in mind that we're scared of. Just different ways in which we manifest related to money because it's not exclusive. It's just not exclusive. But I did want to add an important point to what everything is said because I endorse everything and no need for me to reinvent the wheel. But a lot of us are working from home now. This is our reality. So this is where the exercise and the other things come in and getting your head centered in the morning. But here's where I think a financial ritual that's not typical, but it's something I do. And it's basically to get dressed and look nice every morning. Dress for the level you want. I mean, I am just not an advocate of
Yes,
us being frumpy and frowsy and just yuck because we are working from home. I just don't support it. And I
totally
believe in
agree.
makeup every day. Maybe you take off a weekend or something. But I believe in putting on my makeup, getting dressed. I mean, why can't you do this? Why can't you have fun with your closet at home? Why can't you dress up to be at home? You do not have to add to whatever noise is in the environment by saying, oh, I'm going to be depressed and I'm not going to, make myself look as nice as possible. So, in the other rituals that we talked about, journaling, goal setting, exercising, I want to add dress to impress
Mhm.
at
Yes.
home, at home. Because what are you working for? What are you working for? You working so hard to look
Mhm.
frumpy? I
That's
don't
right.
I don't
Right.
agree.
Denise,
And
I do want to add one more thing. When you spoke about the money piece and the rituals, two accounts that I would recommend that persons have in their portfolio is to have a fun account and a profit account.
well, then if we're
The ritual of depositing to that fun account and that profit account.
And then let me add one more ritual. There is Abraham Hicks, for those who may know and who may want to rehearse.
Mhm.
They have a money challenge in which you start with $1,000 and then you double it every day. But the catch is that you have to spend it off. And I
Mhm.
must tell you, I got to 45 days and I struggled with being a multi-trillionaire. I really struggled. Um, what I ended up doing, because I actually had to stop because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to go 365 days. But clearly, I have some blocks. Maybe NLP can help me. I have blocks with trillions because what I ended up doing is creating buckets. So, like, I was going to give to scholarships, have a family fund, have different, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So, I find that that's a good morning ritual to
Mhm.
see how do you spend money. So yes, what Nads is saying in a practical sense, but in a morning ritual type, you could actually create a fund and see where you hit the wall. Because I've confessed, I think I got to like 375 trillion and hit a wall. I did. Yes. You know,
Just help you to become expansive, though.
yes,
That
Yeah, it
exercise
does.
that you did helped to
Mhm.
become
Yeah,
expansive.
it moves
exactly.
you out of your limited
Yeah,
view.
because I mean, like, okay, so what do
Yeah,
you do with 375 trillion? I mean,
yeah, indeed. Once did one in an actual ledger. It's a
yes,
similar idea, and you
right.
have your pluses and your credits and your debits, and
Yeah,
you
but
go
this
through.
one you had to
But
exhaust
every
money.
day it multiplies,
Yeah,
and
and
so
every day you had
yeah,
to spend off the
yeah,
money. You couldn't keep it.
yeah.
So I'm saying, by 375 trillion,
Mhm.
it's like, how much money do my kids really need?
Yeah. I'd like to just make one little additional comment on this dressing for success, right?
Sure.
Because I think it's a really important thing. I mean, what I have on right now is exactly what I put on this morning, and I work from home the entire day. So
Yes,
I didn't put this on for the webinar, and I think it's something that it orients you because when you dress, it's like an anchor. In
yes,
NLP, we call it an anchor. So if I dress like I'm going to work, then I
yes,
feel like I'm going to work, you know?
yes,
And so it's really important that we have those kind of rituals for
yes.
ourselves and getting ourselves in the mindset of, yes, I'm feeling good about myself, I'm feeling empowered, and I'm ready to go, you know?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And I just want to
Pajamas won't do that for you.
no pajamas in the day. And I
No.
just really want to thank you, coaches, for sharing this morning ritual. I know we're gonna gear up next week for the evening ritual.
Yes.
And I don't know if that involves a couple bottle of wine or not. So you'll have to stay tuned for our next confabulation to see what the evening rituals entail. But for the morning, we all agree visualization, gratitude, journaling, exercise. And it doesn't have to be, a marathon preparing for a man. We can just be a light, easy, breezy, exercise program and, dressing up making your day special. You may even go as far as I do is organize your closet by rainbow, all the reds, all the oranges, all the yellows together, so that you can go in the closet and have fun and go shopping, But and then we segued into having accounts for your actual use and visualizing accounts. And if anyone wants to talk about what do we do when we get to $375 trillion in visualization, drop me a line. I'm ready to talk because I'll confess, I got stuck. And so, you know, join us always for Fabulous Life. We are working on an awesome website. And so one of the things about Fabulous Life, I'm so excited about the coaches. We do stuff individually, we do stuff together. So there's always something happening. And I'm going to say, join us next week. Coaches, thank you for being
Thank
with us.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Denise.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Peace